Hello and welcome to Love and the Planets. And today we're talking about the full moon in December. This is, of course, our last full moon of the year, and it comes the day after solstice. So I'm Margaret Gray in Dublin.
And I'm Armand Diaz in Long Island, New York.
So, Armand of Long Island, New York, what do you think of this full moon? I mean, it's an interesting one because it's at 0 degrees Cancer, of course. And it's really, I always think that even though it's a full moon, which is about ending, when there's a moon at 0, there's something also about the start of something. So it feels particularly important for relationships, particularly in the sign of Cancer, which is quite a nurturing sign, or at least traditionally known as a nurturing and creative sign. What are your initial thoughts about this full moon in relationships?
Well, I mean, it's a very powerful full moon, right at 0 degrees Cancer, right on the world axis there at 0 degrees of a cardinal sign. It happens just as we have in the Northern Hemisphere, and I'm not Northocentric. Yeah, some of my best friends are from the Southern Hemisphere. But
Glad to hear it.
But 90% of the world's population lives above the equator.
Of course.
Not that the other 10% don't matter.
No.
But the darkest day of the year in solar terms is the brightest in lunar terms, because the moon will be high up there at 0 degrees Cancer. It seems to me to be calling us to the night. It just seems to be saying, get out, have fun, play a little bit. But that's what it's saying to me. And then it's saying to me, but it's in the sign of Cancer, and the sun is in 0 degrees Capricorn. So how much fun and playing are we going to do?
Very true. I think this axis, this opposition, I think, first of all, it's interesting because it's the same as the nodes are in. So there's a connection definitely with the direction we're really being pulled in, which is this North Node in Cancer, which in relationships is really about how can we nurture ourselves, nurture each other, be creative. And I think the axis with Capricorn is often about also manifesting something, manifesting a relationship, manifesting creativity. And even though I totally agree with you, certainly for those of us in the North, it's kind of the winter time, which is really about nesting together. Yet within that nesting, there are seeds which are planted, because once we have the shortest day of the year, of course, the days start getting longer for us in this hemisphere. So it feels to me like it's a very powerful potential time to let go of something from, the past year that has accumulated, and really, really plant some seeds for the new, which will be coming with the new year.
That's an interesting point. I mean, the full moon is a culmination point, and yet the solstice is, in the solar cycle, it is actually the beginning, right? It is the seed point. And so, again, we have this sort of contrast, light and dark, beginnings and endings, all sort of swirled together. I don't know how I would take that in terms of, other than go out and have fun because it's a full moon. I don't know how I would take that in terms of what to do in our relationships. I kind of feel, it depends what sign you are, it depends where you are in your relationships. I feel that it could be sort of beginning, taking things to the next level type of thing, making serious decisions. The moon, the sun, and the moon goes on to oppose Saturn, and the sun goes on to meet Saturn. So there is and it is Capricornian, this sun's in Capricorn, so there is a bit of that kind of seriousness, decision making time about it, isn't there?
There is, and also not to forget that it's sextile Uranus, the moon, and it's squaring Chiron. And I think we've had a lot of Chironian energy the past few weeks, and a lot of people have been feeling, or have really contacted us saying they've been feeling a mixture of kind of grief and sadness and yearnings. And of course, it's the time of year as well. But I think this is almost, my hope is the last piece of that, the last piece of that kind of looking at, what's been going on over the past year, good or bad decisions we've made. Also people who have lost loved ones, who have died over the year and so on. And to kind of say, okay, looking at that squarely in the face and saying, okay, there's been a time of grief and there may still be a time of grief, but also to keep in mind that the new seeds are under the soil and that they're getting ready for a new beginning, that there is a cycle to everything. There's a cycle of life and cycle of death. And I think that, with the sextile, to Uranus, there is that hope, that sense of hopefulness and that sense of potential change and light that is coming in.
Well, we get that at the very end of Sagittarius. We get a lot of very powerful things that seem. I wonder, full moon is always this charged energy time, and I almost wonder if it isn't kind of like, as we come into it, we feel this sort of Sagittarian, Uranian push, and then and all of a sudden things switch over to a much more serious kind of approach to things on the Cancer Capricorn axis. It depends a lot where you are in relationship. My takeaway is go out and have fun because it's a full moon and it's around the holidays and stuff like that. And on whatever level you can enjoy yourself, and know that within other new things are brewing.
Yes, and maybe, do something creative, if you enjoy doing creative things, or even just go for a walk to a nice art gallery. I know here in Dublin we've got an amazing exhibition on Venice, at one of the galleries. So do something that also maybe is associated with water. So if it is, Venice is perfect with water, but something you enjoy doing, or even if you're at home, maybe do something like quilting or whatever you enjoy that's creative, or decorating or nesting, or buying something nice for your home or your bedroom, something that kind of feels cozy, and nice candles or nice oils. We often say that, but I think with a full moon in water, you can't go wrong if you stick to something that's a little bit watery.
That's a very good point. Isn't Venice flooded? Venice was flooded last time I saw on the news. They had
a lot of flooding this year. So yeah, it's been pretty shocking. But yes, I believe these are the paintings of Canaletto. So I'm looking forward to going to see them over the holidays.
That's the sort of project that we should all keep in mind.
Absolutely. Well, have a lovely solstice, Armand, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.